What's going on, Lakers fans? Alex Kirschenbaum here after an exciting Lakers victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm joined by Noel Sanchez. What's up, Noel?
What's going on, man? Very excited to be here. Finally got that dub, as AD said, a must-win game, and I mean they came through. So super excited to chop it up and just everything going on in the Lakers world right now. Good to
Hell
see you
yeah.
guys again.
Exciting time. And we're joined for the first time on the pod by Matt Levine. What's up, Matt?
How's it going, guys? This is awesome. Lakers just got this huge win, like Noel said, and we're feeling good right before the holidays.
That's right. It's a festive time here in Lakerland. And I think the big headline that I want to get into right away is the starting lineup change. We finally did it. Darvin Ham demoted D'Angelo Russell from starting point guard to a bench role. And he was like the third bench guy to come off of the pine tonight after Reeves and Rui. And he had a great night, actually. But the lineup now, the starting five for this Thunder game, which was won by the Lakers 129 to 120, was LeBron at the point, Taurean Prince at the 2, Cam Reddish at the 3, Jared Vanderbilt elevated to a starting role once again at the power forward, and then Anthony Davis at center. So let's go to Noel first. How did you feel about this starting lineup? How worried should we be about this slump, first of all? Is this the solution?
I did not like the change at first. I'm not gonna lie. When the reports came out, I mean, my reaction was like a lot of other Laker fans saying, like, "What are we thinking? LeBron already has plenty on his plate. Now they're gonna have him essentially be the starting point guard." You have Austin Reeves, who's been on an amazing like 7-8 game stretch, averaging around 23 points, almost 6 assists. I think he's been amazing in that ball handling role, and he's really starting to find himself again. And I thought, if anything, he deserved to hop into that starting role versus Jared Vanderbilt, who's been really good on defense, but I mean, he's been scoring almost nothing. So my immediate reaction was our offense is already very shaky, especially at the beginning of the game. So, like, what are we thinking? But they proved me completely wrong this game. I thought they looked amazing out there from the beginning. I think they came in with a lot of energy into OKC's house. And I think the biggest thing here is when you have those guys starting next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis, there's no identity crisis. There's no, what am I supposed to do on offense? Really is just, it's a revolving around LeBron James and Anthony Davis off the jump like it should be. And I think that really benefited them all throughout the game today.
All right, sorry. And then, Matt, counterpoint, or do you concur?
Yeah, I kind of agree in a way with Noel. When it first came out, it was a little like, okay, what are we doing here? Darvin Ham has changed the lineup so many times this season, and it's been kind of confusing just to keep up with who's in the rotation, who's out of the rotation. But you have to give them credit. They came in, they had energy, and they kind of put it to the Thunder, for being honest. But I'm actually completely in favor of benching D'Angelo Russell. I think he, at this point, he might better serve the 6-man role for this team. I mean, him running the second unit is pretty awesome. If you ask anyone around the league, he would be the best backup point guard, essentially, right? And they don't need him to score 20 points a game. Obviously, you love it. You love when he drops 30, 35 a game, those random nights, but I would prefer Reeves go back into the starting lineup. You kind of moved Reeves onto the bench so you could separate them, but now you're kind of putting them back together in a way. And kind of like what Noel said, you need more offense. And Reeves shined in the playoffs last year running this offense. He's great in the pick and roll. He can get his own shot. He can set people up, and I think that's exactly what this team needs. But they're going to give this new lineup a shot here. They won the game, obviously, so they're going to continue this. I'm curious to see how this looks against a team like Boston on Monday, because if this works against Boston, this could be the long-term starting lineup for this Lakers team.
Okay, and my brief counter is I agree with you guys that Reeves makes so much more sense as starting point guard than LeBron, because you have to do like the cross matching with defensively. Jared Vanderbilt comes in, guards the point guard, and LeBron has to go back to the 4, and then they switch again. And LeBron was worn out after this game. He had 40 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, I believe. But you saw after the game, he was like totally spent. Like, and it's December. You can't do this to LeBron James. The man is old. He's very, very old. I don't want him being the singular generator of all the offense, off the dribble. So I think Reeves as a supplemental ball handler makes so much more sense alongside LeBron James than off the bench next to D'Lo, like you were saying, Matt. So yeah, I'm in favor of some toggling. My preference would be You got to. I mean, Taurean Prince makes the most sense. He's not the best defender. I guess Vanderbilt's the best defender of those three starters that are sort of permeable. But I think that because of Taurean Prince's two-way ability, I would prefer trying him out, and then you get Reeves, Prince, I guess LeBron, Vanderbilt, and Davis. Let's try something like that. Maybe Rui instead. I guess the issue with Rui is that he can't really defend threes, but Vanderbilt can't really shoot. It's not a perfect.
Yeah, they're essentially that's been the case
Yeah.
with them. They're just like polar opposites. I think that's kind of the crazy thing, seeing the two of them developed ever since the last year's trade deadline, and I think that's really where things could get interesting this trade deadline. You know, you've seen not a big sample size of Jared Vanderbilt this season because of his injuries, and then you have Rui Hachimura, who he's wearing a mask. He's not the most comfortable, but I mean, 16 points in the first half today, 7% shooting. He was a huge reason why we were in such a good spot at halftime and why we were able to cannonball on our way onto a road win. And I mean, when his offense is good, when he's efficient, like this team is completely different, and we look really good. And I mean, him, Reeves, and D'Lo, they look great off the bench together. But I'm with Matt. I think LeBron James, who's literally about to turn 40 years old in a couple of days.
39, come on.
39. He's not 40 just yet. 39.
Not yet.
Jumping the gun a little bit. But yeah, he's literally about to be 39 years old. He can't be handling all this weight. And I mean, we just got a report today that Gabe Vincent likely going to undergo surgery 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, what are you guys' quick thoughts on that? Because that's crazy. After all the time he missed and now surgery.
Kendrick Nunn 2.0 in a way. Not exactly, because, at least he has a couple years on his contract. But it's disheartening. This was like the big pickup, I guess, for the offseason. And we've barely seen him. And the couple times he has played, he hasn't been very good. And, maybe it's because he's hurt. I'm not going to hold that against him. But that just makes it even more apparent that this Lakers team is going to need to go out and do something at the deadline. They can't stand pat like they've done. They have to make some type of move, especially in the guard position, because, yes, D'Lo and Reeves can run the team, but you also kind of want someone else who can come in even for that 5 to 7 minute range that can just take that load off of them so they're not winded. But, I don't know how you guys feel. I love the fact that Taurean Prince did not hit the 30-minute mark today. I don't want him playing 30 minutes. I'm sorry. He's good. He's a very good role player, but Darvin Ham has been playing him in the 32, 35 minute range. And you're not going to win many games if Taurean Prince is doing that.
Yeah,
he was shot at Taurean Prince. It's just the reality of the situation of who he is, and it's I love this 25 to 28, 29 minute range for him. But there is absolutely no reason that LeBron James should be playing 37 minutes in a game against the Thunder in December. I get it. They needed a win. I understand that, but come on. Why do we only have a 9-man rotation?
I don't really get it. And I don't
why
get
is Christian Wood not playing. I understand that he's made some mistakes, but they were up 20 in the third. Why is he not being given a couple minutes? Some of these decisions just kind of blow my mind a little bit. It kind of reminds me of how they used Lonnie Walker early in the year last year, where he was just benched the whole time. So, maybe Christian Wood's going to have his moment in the playoffs like Lonnie did. But it's just, you got to have some type of spaced out rotation here. It's December. It's the end of December. You can't shorten your rotation this soon.
It is weird. What did you guys think about that closing lineup too? So the closing lineup was Reeves, Reddish, Rui, LeBron, and AD. A lot of size, right? And then the creating was Reeves and LeBron, and a lot of defense. And it was fine. I don't think it was great, but it held off the Thunder long enough to keep the win, because the Thunder were threatening at the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we all saw in that OKC game, we're going to get into a little bit later, but I mean, you needed to shut down Shea, because he was starting to cook at the end of the third quarter. He got them within 10, within 8, and it was looking a little scary there. And then Chet started chucking up some threes. LeBron was kind of daring him to shoot. So, I mean, that's why you needed the size out there. Just you have guys like J-Dub, very physical team in OKC. So, like you said, not the perfect lineup, but I mean, the thing about Darvin Ham, he's going to stick with the guys that he loves, and he has his favorites on the team. So he loves Reddish, he loves playing LeBron all game. So
and he doesn't like Reeves that much, and he doesn't like the centers.
Reeves is 25 years old, and he said that he's playing him 27 minutes a game to keep him fresh.
Yeah, it's like this isn't Alex Caruso. Like Reeves isn't like diving for every loose ball or whatever. He's not. I mean, he plays like hard, but he's not a huge injury risk. So I don't get that at all. That's your third best player. Like you got to play him 35 minutes.
But I mean, that's been the criticism of Darvin Ham since he joined the Lakers. I'm not in that mindset that they need to fire him like some fans are, but they need to set a rotation at this point. This is that time where you're trying to build that chemistry with these guys. And yes, the Vincent injury obviously, affects some things, but when people are going in and out of the lineup, in and out of rotation, not exactly knowing their role, you're going to have these games that, where players are struggling and then they lose by 30, like they have a couple times this season. And I don't understand it. Like you said, Austin Reeves is the third best player. This man came back to the team over the offseason. He was the most important piece. And now you're not playing him heavy minutes. Like I'd rather him play a little bit heavier minutes than Anthony Davis playing 42 minutes in a game. But it makes absolutely no sense. Sometimes.
He's the only other Laker that's putting pressure on the rim from penetration other than LeBron James.
Literally.
Only other player on the Lakers.
It's a clear vote of no confidence in the Hayes and Wood pickups, right?
Yeah.
And Hachimura is playing backup center, basically.
Hayes has been whatever, Hayes was never going to be that, dominant center. He was just going to come in, grab some rebounds, maybe
a little defense
or something. But Christian Woods looked okay, at least from what I've seen. He's made some mistakes, but I mean, that's just who he is. But he also can score the ball, and this team is offensively challenged. And I feel like he needs to get a little bit extra run. Just pair him with Davis. Like Davis can guard the paint. Let Wood just shoot the ball, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I would love to see a little bit of more like Wood at the 4. I mean, just him in the rotations would be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, okay. So we're all kind of pretty much agreed about the starting 5 that we want, which is Reeves at the point, and then who knows exactly with the other guys, and then LeBron and AD.
But it's because now you have this dilemma where it's you have this dilemma where it's like it was kind of like it was okay. Reeves is going to run the second unit. He's doing great. He's coming in. He's able to put the ball in his hands. But now that D'Lo isn't playing very good and Gabe is hurt, and now you need it's clear Reeves needs to be the starting point guard.
Yeah, because Gabe was like the point of attack defender. He was basically the Schroeder this year, right? Yeah. But like if he's not healthy, and that's why Vanderbilt was elevated, I think, because Vanderbilt can really guard 1 through 4 pretty well. So yeah. We'll see, but okay. Bigger picture, this is the Thunder. They're 18-9 now. They're the 2nd seed in the West. The Lakers are the 9th seed in the West after this win against the Thunder. How do you think they stack up based on what we've seen? We've seen them play the Mavericks recently, the Rockets, both sort of playoff contenders. They're going to be playing the best team in the East on Monday, and the Boston Celtics. Like, where do they stack up for you guys right now after we're at 25 games into the season or something? No, 30 games into the season. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I still think this team is a title contender. Like, they have their issues, obviously. But in a one-game situation, I don't know what we're going to get from this team, right? Like, every game's a little bit of a whirlwind. But over a 7-game series, there's maybe like 2 or 3 teams that I would take over them. Because of the veteran experience on this team. And we saw the kind of, just like light click with them in the playoffs last year where – they just turned it on and just dominated Memphis, dominated Golden State. And I still think that they can do that. I probably lean Denver in a series just because we haven't seen them beat Denver at this point. But when you're looking at the rest of the Western Conference, like, I'm not trusting the Minnesota Timberwolves. They almost beat the Timberwolves the other night without LeBron. It's like the Kings – the Kings are a little scary, but they also
not the Kings.
Kind of tough at the same time. They could have easily taken the Kings down earlier in the season. It's like the Rockets are inexperienced. The one team that's just that wild card for me against the Lakers is the Clippers, just because they look good right now, and they always play the Lakers really tough. So out west, I would probably take the Lakers over everybody except the Nuggets and Clippers at this point. And the Clippers are kind of like that even. They're even for me because I need to see more from both teams. If you're looking at the East, Boston, obviously, we're going to see what happens on Monday. That's going to be a fun game. Philadelphia is Philadelphia. I don't know. They'll choke in the playoffs like they typically do.
They sure will.
I still think top 5. I think they're in the bottom end of the top 5 for title contenders for me at least.
I like it. Noel counterpoint, or do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, like always, the West is brutal conference. I mean, 2 weeks ago we were talking completely different about this Lakers team. We were looking amazing in the in-season tournaments, and I mean, I think Minnesota has shocked the world. Like, I know we almost beat them the other day without LeBron, but I mean, they look scary. I feel like they really put pretty much everything together. They've figured out how to use Rudy Gobert to his full potential. They're actually passing the ball down low, and they're essentially thinking that anything offense is just a plus, and they're allowing him to be the defensive player of the year that he's won 3 times and probably going to win for a 4th time this year. Then you have Naz Reid, who's one of the most versatile bigs in the league, and also Karl-Anthony Towns, who has agreed to take a backseat behind Anthony Edwards, who in my opinion is a top 5 MVP candidate this year. So I personally do think that the Timberwolves in a 7-game series, I would be scared to see them, whether it be second round, Western Conference Finals. Obviously, you have the Denver Nuggets, who, I mean, swept us. No matter how close every game was, swept us. They know what they're doing out there. And then, I mean, like Matt said, the Clippers, even if they're not as consistent as they are right now, that star power on the court is crazy. And a healthy Kawhi Leonard is probably...
They're not gonna be healthy though, guys. They're not gonna.
Kawhi's already missed a couple games in a row.
Yeah, Kawhi missed like 2 games.
What did he the other day? He said he should sue. They should sue for slander or something.
Oh yeah, like defamation, or like something like that.
2 games. So I mean, who knows? The Clippers are that wild card. You just never know with them.
Yeah, but
exactly.
Sorry, Noel, continue.
No, you're good. But yeah, I would say those 3 teams are the 3 that I am scared of. I do think that if we did make it out of the West, I'm taking us over Boston and Milwaukee and Philly. I think I would take us over Boston.
Dude, all right, guys, but what about the guards? The Lakers, you're just assuming that there's going to be a trade, right? Because if there's a trade, the Lakers have the assets to get an upgrade in the guard spot. But right now with these guards, like I don't know. The perimeter guys, I don't see it really.
No, yeah, it would be super tough. It would be super tough. I mean, having to guard Tatum, having to try to score on a Drew Holiday that has more juice under his belt with the Celtics.
Derek
White,
I
do see what you're saying.
Brown,
Derek White, Derek White is awesome. I mean, D'Angelo's basically Derek White, right? He modeled his defense after him.
That's what he told us, but I don't know if I'm seeing it.
How about you, Alex? What are your thoughts on their place in the conference standings right now?
Yeah, in the West. So right now, again, they're 16-14. They're the 9th seed. The Suns are out of the play-in right now, which is wild. But yeah, I think I'd say like to add to the Clippers wild cardness, I would say a team like the Pelicans also is another one that, if healthy, could be fun. Like a weird matchup for the Lakers just because of that size, but hard to trust them to be healthy either. Hard to trust Zion to stay motivated. And yeah, like the Nuggets seem like the best team. Timberwolves are playing amazing. Anthony Edwards, Jay McDaniels. Speaking of perimeter guys, like that's amazing defense right there. And then you got, of course, their crazy 3-headed monster in the front court. So yeah, I would say it seems like they're the 3rd toughest out in the playoffs right now in the West. I would say like Clippers looming, Pelicans looming as like weird injury X factors, and then Thunder, if they made a trade, would be right there. They need to like shore up their size as well, I think, because Chet.
Yeah, if they make that move for Lauri Markkanen, then they're gonna be real scary.
That's tough.
Seen that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, that'd be great. Giddy for Markkanen.
The whole league would have to watch out if that move went down. That's all I'm gonna say.
Damn, I love it. Okay, let's see next. Oh, and then I should mention too. Lakers are just getting out of they were on a 4-game losing streak, and they had won one of their last, I believe, 5 games. Or was it 6 games? 5 games. Was it 6 games? It was 6 games since the play. Okay.
I think they went 1-5 up till tonight.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There you go. So yeah. So they won one of their last 6 games since the play-in tournament, and until tonight. Looking rough. They dropped the game to the Spurs. They dropped the game to the Bulls, who are on the ascent, but even still, it's not a great showing. And that was the reason for this lineup change. And hopefully, it's going to turn around their December here. So let's just talk about the game in general. Any Oklahoma City game takeaways? The homework was each one of us comes up with one takeaway or a couple takeaways, and then we just give one. So, Matt, what you got for us?
I mean, it's just vintage LeBron. Like, we're literally seeing this man put this team on his back once again, and I think that's great. Like, look, we all love it. We all like watching it. It's like, oh, yeah, LeBron. It's all great for social media and whatnot, and it's great for the Lakers. Every once in a while, LeBron has a game like this. but they rely on him a little too much. The dude's about to turn 39 years old, and that's a problem. That he is still the best player on this team. Like, and Anthony Davis played well tonight. I'm not trying to take a shot at him, but that's my biggest takeaway is that you're still relying too heavily on LeBron. Because yes, the Thunder are a very good team, and this was a great win considering it was on the road. They had dropped a few games, but they got to find some way to take the load off LeBron a little bit. I don't know what that exactly looks like. Maybe it's trading for a Zach LaVine or a DeMar DeRozan or someone out there like that. But they got to do something because LeBron cannot carry this team night in and night out every single game. And that is the biggest issue to me is that unless, it takes like a superhuman performance once in a while from him for them just to get a win sometimes. And you can't have that at this point in his career.
Cool. Noel, what you got for us?
No, I definitely do agree with that. I think the LeBron James take is very much valid. And one thing I always notice is that most of the time he's coming in with the most energy too, which at his age, with all the mileages on his body and all the young guys that, are supposed to take the next step on this team, that shouldn't be the case. But I got to show love to Rui Hachimura, 21 points off the bench.
That was mine. Damn it.
Okay. We could collab. It's all right.
No. I got another one. It's fine.
We could do a little collab commentary.
You got it. That's a good fun.
Yeah, no, I think that was just awesome. He came in. He looked very comfortable. He just got to business. He found his spots. He was ready to catch and shoot. And when he's in his shots, when he's allowed to, get to that middle, do his little turnaround off that left shoulder and just, find his groove, the Lakers are in a good spot. I've always said like 17, 18 plus points off the bench from Rui. That's all you can really ask for. Solid defense. He's not going to be able to guard the best player on the other team every possession. But, if he gets on a switch and he could hold his own, that's all you need from him. And that's what I love from him tonight.
Nice. Great pick. 3 of 5 from deep, 8 of 14 from the field, 21 points overall. Only a +1, plus minus, but
that's that defense right
doesn't
there.
really,
For sure.
yeah. But still. All right, so I think for my takeaway, it would be the 3-point shooting. They went 16 of 32 from deep, 50%. No one was afraid to chuck outside of 3 of the starters. But, you got LeBron going 5 for 5, Prince 2 of 5. Those are the 2 starters that made more than 1 3. And then Rui off the bench had 3 triples out of his 5 attempts. Reeves had 2 of 5. D'Lo went 3 of 6. So they have to keep up that volume output, I think. And that's a big thing to watch for in a trade is like you need a guy that's a volume 3-point shooter, which is my big issue with a DeMar DeRozan deal. I love DeMar DeRozan. I think his game and his fit on the Lakers would be weird. He's an okay 3-point shooter this season. He's not over the course of his career, but this season he's fine. But it's more just like if he's in rhythm and he's got some time, and he's like at the corner or whatever. It's not like they make like a set for him to get open for 3. So I would really prefer like a volume 3-point shooter for the Lakers. And that's like the big thing that I'm worried about. And that was a big part of why they won against this Thunder team. Thunder went 13 of 41, 31.7% from deep.
Oh, wow.
So, huge difference. Lakers are one of the 3-point. They're one of the teams least willing to take threes this season, and they're like a sort of mid-tier team when it comes to conversion rate, I believe. But in terms of like attempts, they're pretty low, so they just need to keep chucking.
Yeah, and also one thing, and it's pretty simple, but when you don't start out slow, you notice how the Lakers typically win these games when they aren't being blown out by 15 at the end of the first quarter. It's kind of it seems so simple. But it's a common thing. They've been starting slow almost every game. And it's like we've seen them come back, obviously, a couple times to win the game. But tonight they had energy. That's what they need. They need energy to start the game, set that rhythm, set that tone for the game for themselves. Because when they don't, they struggle. And then they're playing catch up. They're scratching and clawing their way back into the game. And then even if they get back into it, they can't finish because they use so much energy just trying to get there. So I guess that's another takeaway, I guess. Just, great job, Lakers. You guys actually showed up with some energy against a really good young team on the road. And I think this may have been the best win of the season. I think I put
that's a
this
good question.
in the Cleveland game up there because
That is a good one.
With some energy, and I really liked what I saw today.
Yeah. I think it depends on the next 5 games, but if this is a table-setting moment, I could see this being like a huge turning point win for them.
Yeah,
I still think that
Boston, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, I still feel like this is not going to be the starting lineup that they have in like 2 months.
Agree.
You know? Yeah. So no, part of that's going to be they're going to make some kind of trade because Rob Pelinka is going to do an honest assessment of the roster. But it just seems like Reeves is coming back to that lineup. I think the big thing that annoyed me about the Manu Ginobili comparison is that Manu Ginobili was not starting in part because Tony Parker was starting at point guard. Like, I mean, I know Manu Ginobili's like more of a 2, but he's also not because he's kind of like a shooting guard size point guard. You know, that was what kind of made him special. And so plays the lefty. But like, I feel like Reeves isn't. You know, Reeves is behind D'Angelo Russell. Like, it's not the same thing at all. So I just feel like, what are we doing? You know, what are we clinging to with this Ginobili idea for Reeves? Like, you know, if you had Tony Parker starting, then sure, but otherwise, like, I don't see it. Okay, so I think that was it for my big questions. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the Lakers' outlook for this period before the trade deadline, February 8th?
I mean, they just gotta hopefully stay as healthy as possible, and I hope everybody that is available can showcase their skill sets, not just for boosting their trade value, but just so we can truly see how this team is able to all play together when healthy. It sucks that Gabe isn't going to be a part of the mix, but I mean, hopefully Vando, Rui keep trending upwards. Honestly, hopefully LeBron and AD stay healthy as our main guys, and you know, we gotta finish off the year well, and then you know what happens at the trade deadline happens.
It's a good point. Real quick before we get to Matt, I think that that's an important point about trade value. D'Angelo Russell has to play major minutes because he was signed to be traded, so he can't just be slacking now that he's on the bench. That was the big reason I think that Ham didn't want to bench him in the first place, was because they wanted to showcase him. He'd get a lot of shots with the starters and have cool-looking numbers that have since been sliding into slump. So, D'Lo to have like these 12-point quarters every once in a while, like he did tonight. So, anyway, Matt, go ahead.
I mean, I agree with Noel. Like, you have to have this team, you know, step up the next few weeks, month, or whatever, you know, just to see, do you need to make a big trade, right? Do you need to just kind of add around the edges? You know, I have a theory that D'Angelo tanked that game against the Bulls the other night. Just, he didn't want to get traded. Like, he was, you know, he showed the Bulls management, like, hey, don't trade for me. I'm not very good, you know, so he could try to stay in LA or something.
As a Bulls fan, I don't want the Bulls to trade for him, so that's fine with me.
I mean, I hope you guys trade for him. You know, that's the best way to go about that. You know, I just think, you know, Rob, like you said, Rob's going to make a trade. Something's going to happen. This team's going to upgrade, and you know, my thing is get into the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. Because, like I said, I'm going to trust this Lakers team with LeBron and Anthony Davis healthy, assuming they're healthy, if they're in the playoffs. I don't care if they're the 8th seed; it doesn't matter to me. Just get into the dance, and we will see what happens. I trust them, and they've shown us when they're healthy, they can beat anybody. So, you know, we'll just kind of let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, gentlemen. Looking forward to discussing the Lakers again in a week or two, and we'll see how they're doing. But hopefully it's a 5-game win streak or something.
Hopefully, man. Appreciate you guys having me. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and go read all of our work at alllakers.com.